Let me ask you something. Have you ever hit a goal that was supposed to make you feel proud, and instead, it just felt empty? See, you hit the number, you got the title, you crossed the finish line, and for a second, yeah, it felt good, but deep down, something was off. You thought success would feel like peace, but it felt like pressure. You thought it would feel like fulfillment, but instead, it felt like another race. I know that feeling because I felt it in a different way. For me, it wasn't about chasing views or obsessing over follower counts. It was subtler than that. It was chasing progress, chasing enough, always trying to do more, build more, be more, without ever stopping to ask, why? See, I wasn't burning out from social media metrics. I was burning out from my own expectations. And at some point, I realized I was no longer building from purpose. I was simply surviving by momentum. The hustle was loud, but inside, I felt disconnected. And that's when it hit me. What if real success isn't about how much you've done, but about how deeply you're aligned while doing it? Welcome back to Hard Truths, the podcast where we cut through the noise, challenge the way you think, and talk about what's actually holding you back. And today's topic? Redefining success. So let's get into it. From the time we are kids, we are handed a definition of success we didn't ask for. Get good grades, get into the right school, land the high-paying job, climb the ladder, buy the house, drive the car, collect the accolades, retire rich. See, that's the story. And if you check all the boxes, supposedly, you win. But let's be real. How many people do you know who've done all that and are still miserable? See, we live in a world where we measure success by external metrics. How many followers do you have? What's your job title? How big is your house? How busy are you? But here's the truth. External success doesn't guarantee internal peace. And when you chase validation outside yourself, you become addicted to someone else's scoreboard. This isn't just philosophy, it's psychology. Dr. Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, explained that lasting well-being isn't about pleasure or achievement alone. It comes from a combination of purpose, engagement, positive relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. What he calls the PERMA model. Notice what's missing. Money, status, applause. Because those things don't create joy. They create a high, and highs always fade. So if you're feeling lost, stuck, or constantly behind, it might not be because you're failing. It might be because you're measuring your life with the wrong ruler. And here's the trap. The more success you achieve by external standards, the harder it becomes to walk away from them. Because now, there's status attached. People start to expect things from you. Your identity gets wrapped up in being the achiever, the overperformer, the one who made it. But at what cost? We've all seen it. The millionaire with no peace, the CEO who can't sleep, the influencer who built a brand and now feels trapped inside it. That's the dark side of chasing success without stopping to define it. You climb the mountain and realize it's not your mountain. You win the game and realize it's someone else's scoreboard. There's a term in psychology called the hedonic adaptation. It means that no matter what you achieve, how much money you make, how famous you become, how much you upgrade your life, you eventually return to the same baseline of happiness. That's why chasing more will never be enough. Because if the target is always outside of you, it keeps moving. And every time you get there, it's already shifted. See, real success starts when you stop asking, what do they want from me? And you start asking, what do I want to feel when I wake up? That is where things shift from chasing to choosing. Because the truth is, success is personal. What feels like success to one person might feel like a prison to someone else. That's why you need a custom blueprint, one that fits your values, your energy, your actual life. And it starts with two questions. First, what do I want my life to feel like? And second, what am I no longer willing to trade for approval? So forget the highlight reel, forget the metrics. This is about alignment. Psychologists call this the intrinsic motivation. Doing something because it's inherently meaningful to you, not because you're chasing a reward or avoiding punishment. In Daniel Pink's book, Drive, he breaks motivation into three components: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. When your work and life tap into those three, you don't burn out, you build. So let me ask you, do you feel in control of your time? Are you growing in something that matters to you? And do you actually care about the outcome beyond applause? That's what a redefined version of success starts to look like. It's less about chasing, more about choosing, less about stacking, more about simplifying, less about being impressive, more about being at peace. Because when you live by your values, not their metrics, you stop sprinting towards someone else's life and you start building one that finally fits. So let's talk about the fakes. Because success does have knockoffs. They look shiny, they're easy to chase, and they burn you out faster than anything else will. Here are a few most common ones. Number one, the hustle badge. This one tells you that the more exhausted you are, the more successful you must be. It turns burnout into a status symbol. But here's the truth. If your wins come at a cost of your wellness, it's not success. It's sacrifice dressed up as ambition. Number two, the comparison trap. You start out proud of what you've built until you scroll. Suddenly, your progress feels small. This is what happens when you measure your life by someone else's highlight reel. And the algorithm, it doesn't care about your peace. It's designed to keep you chasing. And third, the productivity obsession. You tie your worth to how much you get done. Rest feels like laziness, but the science is clear. Over time, cognitive output decreases when you don't rest. Creativity shrivels. Decision fatigue sets in. Being always on doesn't make you elite. It makes you empty. See, these imposters are everywhere. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life climbing a ladder that's leaning towards the wrong wall. The key is recognizing that not all growth is healthy. Not all achievement is aligned. And not every win is worth chasing. So the deeper question is, are your goals even yours? Or were they handed to you by fear, ego, or someone else's idea of success? Because until you confront that, you'll keep running fast in the wrong direction. So, how do you actually build a successful system that's yours? You flip the lens. You stop asking, what should I achieve? And you start asking, what kind of person do I want to become? Here's what I've found. Real success is quiet. It doesn't beg for validation. It doesn't need a round of applause. It feels like alignment. So instead of tracking likes, dollars, or titles, start measuring your peace, your energy, your integrity, and your growth. So for peace, do you feel grounded or always behind? How about energy? Do your daily actions drain you or refuel you? And for integrity, are you being who you say you are when no one's watching? And finally, growth. Are you evolving into the kind of human you admire? These are internal scoreboards, and the beautiful thing is they can't be taken away. See, research from Harvard's 85-year grant study, one of the longest studies ever on an adult development, found that the greatest predictor of long-term well-being wasn't money or fame. It was the quality of your relationships, connections, meaning, presence. Not how much you had, but how deeply you lived. When you trade performance success for personal success, everything changes. You start creating from overflow, not obligation. You start choosing depth over display. You stop chasing applause and start building a life that feels like home. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about what you've accumulated. It's about who you've become along the way. This is what I've done that helps. I stopped letting people's definition dictate my drive. I got clear on what I actually value, not just what I'm good at or praised for. I paused long enough to ask, what do I want my life to feel like, not just look like? So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to audit your version of success. Each night, take just five simple minutes to reflect and ask yourself, was I proud of how I showed up today? Did I chase something that actually matters to me? Or something that looked good online? What am I measuring? And is it even mine? See, you don't need to overhaul your whole life. Just start noticing the moments when your actions feel aligned and the ones where they feel performant. Because success isn't the viral moment. It's not the trophy. It's not the salary, the algorithm spike, or the shiny new thing. It's the quiet confidence that you're living by your own rules. It's the peace that comes from knowing you're no longer performing. You're just being. So if you've been chasing hard, climbing fast, consistently pushing, but still feel like something's missing, just pause and ask yourself, is the ladder you're climbing even leaning against the right wall? And if it's not, you don't have to keep going just because you started. Recalibrate, realign, redefine. This is Hard Truths. And today's truth, you get to choose what success looks like. And the moment you do, you stop chasing and you start living. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.